funnels. So, hi everyone, this is Niall Cregan from the GitLab search marketing team. We're currently on a meeting with Salt, our SEO agency, just doing a quick run through of the last quarter and just looking at the analytics and somehow how it relates into some of the actions we've taken. So now I'm just going to hand it over to Dan, who's with Salt.
Hi, thanks, Niall. So as Niall said, I'm Dan Taylor at Salt Agency. I'm head of R&D, and I've been heading up the GitLab performance over the last quarter. So just for purposes of internal, I'm going to go through primarily focus on about.gitlab as a subdomain and quarterly performance, data observations, and kind of wins we've seen off the back of correlative updates. So in terms of in a summary, we originally started working through a number of the already predetermined technical issues that the site had, previous technical audits that the site had done by others, and also ones that was made by tools, going through the issues, prioritizing them, working out which ones are issues, which aren't issues, and expanding upon others into relevant areas of Hanif, Niall and the team. From there, one of the main achievements I've listed on here is that we managed to finally get breadcrumb schema working across the entire site, which led to an almost immediate implementation of rich snippets within search results, which we've also seen a correlative increase in click-through rate through Search Console in that as well across key pages. So that's a positive technical win for the site there. Secondly, working with Niall and the content team, we've been heavily focusing on CI/CD, SCM, and DevSecOps. So we've really focused on building out not just rankings for the core phrases which an end user will want to do before conversion or before opening up a board, but also wider visibility around the topic cluster as a whole, so that GitLab as a brand, as a service, and its achievements are basically more visible for non-customers and also competitor customer searches as well, and also generics around that term. The implementations we've done thus far through various things just like standard keyword optimization, meta optimization, internal linking opportunities, we have seen some positive results across this, especially and also stabilization of the brand search terms, which Google was previously, we've done flip-flopping between the about subdomain and the root. This stability has seen positivity in growth, which I'll show with some graphs a bit later on. And then another good performance win we've had is working with a wider engineering team. We've been able to look through the setup of CookieBot, which is the cookie implementation across the site, and that has helped not so much find, but help better give insight and shine light on some dark traffic that we had previously, which was falling under Google Analytics radar. So now we have a much better understanding of the user base, and we're still working through this because, again, with some traffic that we feel has been misattributed, depending on either cookie implementation or how the users are accessing. Niall, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just so obviously we can see some of the results from the initial graphs that will be coming out soon enough, but as a part of the initiatives discussed, we a lot of the focus was on the topics folder and topics related content, which we did see a big boost in impact from in the last quarter. And the initially the page 2 optimizations was obviously a big strategy implementation because it allowed us to use secondary terms to target on specific pages without having to retarget the initial pages, and getting us from like page 2 to a page 1 position on those allowed us to group specific terms on these pages, which increased volume and therefore increased the traffic we're getting into the funnel. So that was just one of the implementations along with the content clustering. But there were two of the primary ones in relation to topics pages we can touch on more when we hit the graphs there later on.
Cool. So kind of doing a bit more granular analysis of the actual work done over that. So as I kind of said, we've done topic cluster focus and visibility around continuous integration, continuous development, source code management, and DevSecOps, and also around some Gartner quadrant sector related phrases. Niall's been applying for a lot of the implementations and recommendations we've passed around those. Like I said, we worked through the initial technical backlog, prioritization, not just on the SEO side, but also a number of tickets raised by users and other engineers across the GitLab team. Processed them through a Fibonacci style prioritization sheet, familiar with anyone on Agile. So we're going to start to make movement there. And then also with a focus not just on the SEO, but also resolving, I've called it user happiness problems, and that's just around getting better crawl and indexing around user project boards and active project boards in that element, and also the technical work around core web vitals, schema, and speed.
Can I just add as well, during this quarter, we've been looking at the reducing the number of errors that has that have a negative effect on our SEO efforts. So we've been addressing issues such as duplicate titles and descriptions, missing title tags and meta descriptions, reducing the number of duplicate content, fixing broken internal links and images, and addressing redirect loops and chains.
So just before we go into the series of graphs, just some data observations and issues pull out of this for anyone who wants to kind of not go through the graph world. So about the GitLab as a subdomain, over the past quarter, we have witnessed a strong correlative increase in rankings and performance in time with a Google core algorithm update. Now that will obviously be impacted from both work we did at the start of the quarter and also work done previously prior to that as well. But it's positive to see that with a broad core algorithm update, the site is being rewarded, in my opinion, substantially for the efforts put in, especially not just around technical, but also around content and better matching user intent and satisfying user happiness. The brand flip-flop issue, as was dubbed, has been showing very good sustainability and sustained time of actually ranking brand agnostic phrase, or just generic brand phrases for about, as opposed to a root. And that has correlated with performance growth generally for the about subdomain as well. And then the ranking improvements, as now mentioned, around CI, CD, DevSecOps, SCM. One note to mention that we have seen in the data is that since November, we have seen a decline in the number of referring domains to GitLab or about.gitlab as a whole. However, naturally, just through the brand, it acquires links daily and naturally anyway. But as I'll show with the graphs, even though we have lost 20% of a backlink profile, that isn't correlating with any performance decrease by any other metric in that sense. So the probably links we've lost have just been detritus. Comparing the referring domains to the number of referring pages, it's considerable amounts. It's probably a lot of cross site-wide links that we've lost in places on not high quality external sites. Niall, Hanif, do you want to add anything there before we go into graphs?
No, so it's mainly we have lost a lot of backlink domain sites, but obviously either they haven't had a detrimental impact, so they've been of a lower quality, but we're also maintaining and growing at such a pace that that impact isn't being reflected anywhere. Okay.
So going into the graphs to kind of show, so this is a third-party tool graph and essentially shows keyword distribution in a kind of heat map fashion. As we entered December and had the December core update, as you'll be able to see, like heat maps kind of go, we started to kind of get a bit more heat, especially kind of on the higher pages, as well as a little bit more heat towards page one itself and higher positions. The number of ranking keywords has increased dramatically since the update, and also coinciding with sustainability of brand ranking on about as well. This not only correlates with this, but also correlates across a number of other third-party tools. In terms of actual traffic versus that, as we can see in blue, is the actual organic traffic by users, which we've been having over the coming days, and then I've just mapped that against the number of referring domains. As you can see, the number of referring domains in the red line does fall, but apart from the basically Christmas, when a lot less people were coming to the site and deploying on the boards, we've returned to normal as January's progressed. So we're not seeing any impact from there. But as Niall's kind of covered as well, we're gaining natural links, we're losing natural links. It just appears to be this weird area where we lost 3,000 in a week and I've lost 10,000 over that kind of 2-3 week period, but it doesn't appear to be of anything of value that has gone. Corroborating that theory that it's not of anything of value, I've put together a graph just basically showing the actual organic users on a week basis, the number of referring domains on a week basis, and then another third-party tool that measures site visibility within Google. And as you can see at the moment, we're actually at an all-time high for site visibility, as I've gone to say what these third-party tools are saying. Organic traffic staying strong despite the referring domain drop. So at this moment in time, I'm not concerned around that drop at all. Directly looking at keywords itself, we are actually doing at an almost high between November 10th and January 10th. Position 1 to 3, which is at 1100. Positioning up, keyword increases there, 2300 on the rest of page 1, and then stacking outside of page 1, we've had nearly 70,000 additional keyword rankings appear and additional keywords, which corroborates with a heat map and also corroborates with the increase in site visibility, just that with the cluster work, with the technical work, and the reward we're getting from the algorithm updates, we're more visible, ranking for more keywords, and GitLab as a brand is just more visible for non-brand search as well, in most terms. And similarly, putting mine to Search Console, talking in terms of impressions. Impressions has increased, as you can see, by the blue line. Again, the small dips around is the week of Christmas, which you'd expect, but that's continued through January to remain positive. And the last two graphs to show brand stability. As you can clearly see there, that's the effect of brand flip-flopping between about and main domain. At the moment, the pillar is still high, apart from one day where it blipped down. So this is the longest period of stability we've had, and we're seeing reward on that. And then finally, the final site visibility one, just to kind of show that we are currently at an all-time high of stability, which correlates with both the Google update, the ranking stability, the brand, and then the additional implementations around core keyword clusters. Niall, Hanif?
Yeah, so just to give a quick recap there on something previously said on the keyword positioning. One of the other things we've been doing also, which has probably helped us grow a lot of the positions between 1 to 3 and 4 to 10, etc., is we've been working on the internal link structure alignment. So ensuring that we are getting related content linked to each other, so that algorithms themselves understand the context between content we may have positioned in the blog and also further in the funnel and topics or solutions, and also that it has allowed us to create user paths, so we're actually funneling traffic further within the website. So I suppose, as you're saying, because of the algorithm update and how our site has responded to it, a lot of the strategies that we've employed have been very positive and things that we've been looking to implement further going into the next quarter. So I don't know if Hannah has anything else to add there.
I have nothing to add, sorry.
So is that it? Anyone else want to chime in there before I shut off the video?
No, it's everything from our side. Thank you.
All right, so just thanks everyone for viewing, and we shall be back with another update next month. Thank you.